let's quit kidding around. We have the haves and have-nots now, and for the group of five, they don't need to be bidding for one of the college football playoff spots. I think they would be a lot happier, and their fan bases would be a lot happier trying to win their own championships. That was Paul Finebaum earlier this season, talking on the Greg McElroy and Cole Kubrick show. Sorry, Cole. In the morning. Anyway, we've talked about this a lot, and I think there's some other schools that are not going to belong. I do kind of wonder the reaction this season. My wife and I were talking about this the other day because of Christmas. You're going to have a lot of people traveling across the country 4 days before Christmas, and teams are going to lose games by a lot in some cases. There's going to be some really unhappy campers with not just the format of it, but let me get back to what Paul's saying, because I've talked about this a lot on this channel. And, I played sports at a very small school. We had no business playing in the Division I national championship, the 64 team NCAA playoff at the time. There were teams that we beat that actually did play in it, but they were more equipped and should have been playing in it. Basketball is very different than football. We never need to see if Liberty can cut it anymore. We don't need to see if Coastal has the ability to. We need this to be a legitimate tournament. Now, there's going to come a time pretty quick that people like Paul and me and other commentators on the sport are going to say, we really don't need 12. So why are we going to 14? Well, the short answer to that is money, which, as a degenerate, I will watch any game that's on. But it's not necessary. And we certainly don't need to include the group of five schools. Now, Cincinnati in 2021, in my opinion, fully deserved to be in the playoff. But that's okay. That was not a mandated spot. This is. And I think that do we need to see the fifth best SEC school, or do we need to see Liberty? Do we need to see the fifth best SEC school, or do we need to see, Coastal, or do we need to see the fifth best SEC team or the third best ACC team, or do we need to see, do we need to see again, Memphis play? I think it is different. And I will say this: I think the American is not the same as some of these other leagues. And people used to say, well, what about Boise? What about, listen, Boise never came close to winning the national championship. They never, those good Boise teams were perfectly good top 15 teams. That is really saying something in college football, because it's not really easy to be there when you have the limited resources that Boise's got. But at the same time, we don't need it. And it's going to kill television. It's going to kill television. I don't really see that why they have to placate to the powerless. The schools that are running this thing, the schools that are there are Georgia, Bama, Ohio State, Texas, Michigan. I would say USC, but they've never been in the playoff. It's the power schools. And there's no reason for, there is no reason, explanation, universal reason in any way that we should have, Tulsa in the playoff. They shouldn't be in. But, is it wrong to leave out, Ole Miss? Like, who are the best five teams in the league right now? Right now, if you go in by the betting odds, it would go Georgia, Texas, Bama, and then Ole Miss, I guess, and then Missouri, something like that. Maybe LSU. Who has the better chance to win? Del McGee's Georgia State team at 11-1, Sunbelt champs, highest ranked, or Missouri? Or Oklahoma. who has the best chance to actually win the game? Because when we get away from it, when we go other directions, it's not good. So I think that's one thing that we've got to really clean up. Frankly, I am looking forward to the campus games. I think that will be very curious. I think it's not at all out of the realm of possibility that Georgia hosts as the 5 seed or even the 6, as losers of the SEC championship game, or as the number 3 in the league. That's totally possible, and we will have never experienced anything like that. That will be fun. What won't be fun, and I will wonder what the masses will say about this, because it does matter to some degree. The schools are going to have to turn those games around pretty quick, and Georgia. Well, no one's ever hosted a football game in middle December. Like, that's gonna be pretty amazing in the Big Ten. It's cold enough in November, late November in the Big Ten. I don't really think we need to see Michigan host, but they will. And it will be on like December. I think it's like December 19th or something like that. I mean, it's like, wow. So it's going to be pretty, well, December 20th and 21st in 2024. So you're going to get some situations where, like, Georgia will host or LSU will host, and the temperature will be, in the lower 60s or something like that. Let me see what Athens weather is in December. This past year I don't remember it being that bad, but that was me. But you're going to have some situations where it's just wild. Like, you could have snow in a playoff game. Like, was that what we really want? On the 20th, on the 20th a year ago, it was 56 degrees in Athens. So that is not at all, cold. I don't think. But, in Ann Arbor, you probably are talking about in the 30s. And someone's got to play at night. So on the 20th and the 20th and 21st of 2023 in Ann Arbor, Michigan, the high was 35. We're going to be playing definitive football. Someone is going to host in the Big Ten. Like, that's happening. And so we do have some issues. But I will say, that's way better than just going to a neutral site. I mean, like, throwing it together 4 days before Christmas at the Gator Bowl or at, I don't even know, some place. I mean, it's just, that part they've got right. But, Paul, the good news about Paul is he's basically, I would say he's right way more often than people give him credit for being. I think, though, the notion that the group of 5 teams will, quote, be happier, that they wouldn't. They'd rather be in the playoff, for sure. It's just not realistic. I mean, you're telling me that I'm killing Liberty, but they were the most recent one in, and frankly, they have no more business than anybody else. Coastal, James Madison, whatever presidential school we've got going on. They're not going to win 4 games in a row. They're not. Very few people are going to win 4 games in a row, frankly, because, probably the team winning 3 games in a row is going to win the national championship. There's really only so many people that that have the ability to win this thing, and it's not the number 12 team, which is back to Paul's point. I am a degenerate. I will watch any college football game that involves the Power 5 schools, no matter what. I will watch, and we do. I will include Oregon State in this. We watch it. We watch Mountain West, a lot of it. It's good. Frankly, it's good football. It's just not top 12 football. So, I love watching San Jose State and Utah State, Boise, Nevada, all those schools, Colorado State. It's fun. but they don't belong in there unless they earn their way in there. But just to give it that, no, I don't. That's not for me. You tell me what you think down below.